These are your evening headlines for January 7th, 2026, right here on BYU-Idaho Radio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Kimber Pierce. The college football transfer portal may have some Cougar fans nervous about the program's future. But even though no one has officially signed their commitment to the team, there are several names in the transfer portal who may want to call Provo home. Austin Pace has the story.
The college football transfer portal closes in 9 days, currently leaving the BYU Cougars with several holes to fill in their roster. Several key contributors will not return to BYU next season, as the program navigates a busy offseason of roster turnover. Backup quarterback McKay Hillstead, defensive back Tyvion Beasley, and 8 other players have announced their intent to enter the transfer portal. Meanwhile, offensive tackle Isaiah Jada has declared for the NFL draft. The Cougars will also say goodbye to 17 seniors who have exhausted their eligibility, including kicker Will Farron, wide receiver Chase Roberts, linebacker Jack Kelly, and tight end Carson Ryan. But there is still a lot of good news. Several key players have announced their return to the program, including wide receiver Parker Kingston, linebacker Isaiah Glasker, and safeties Raider Damuni and Falatau Satuala. They have also had a record year signing high school recruits with several 4-star recruits, such as quarterback Ryder Lyons, tight end Brock Harris, and wide receiver Ken Mpula. While no players from the transfer portal have locked in their commitment to BYU yet, there are several names to keep an eye on, including tight end Walker Lyons, the cousin of BYU commit Ryder Lyons. Other names include cornerback Sione Laulea from Oregon, who is a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and a lifelong BYU fan. Linebacker Leona Lefau from Texas, who was targeted by BYU before his commitment to Texas, and cornerback Smith Snowden from Utah, who is the son of former BYU running back Will Snowden. He's also taking a visit to BYU this week, according to BYU Cougars on Sports Illustrated. The transfer portal closes on January 16th, but players can still sign with teams after that date has passed. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Austin Pace.
A crash early this morning sent 3 people to the hospital. The crash happened around 12:45 a.m. at the intersection of Kimberly Road and North 3400 East in Twin Falls County. According to Idaho State Police, a 2014 Freightliner semi-truck, driven by a 55-year-old man from Kuna and hauling an empty tanker trailer, was traveling west on Kimberly Road. An 18-year-old from Jerome failed to stop his 2010 Ford F-150 at a stop sign going south on North 34 East and hit the semi. The drivers of both vehicles, as well as a passenger from the semi-truck, a 41-year-old man from Twin Falls, were taken to a local hospital. We don't know the extent of their injuries. The first case of the measles has now hit Eastern Idaho. Eastern Idaho Public Health reports a child in Madison County who was unvaccinated against measles was likely exposed while traveling out of state to an area with an ongoing outbreak. The patient did go to Madison Health's emergency room for measles symptoms, but was not hospitalized. The child is no longer contagious, and Madison Health has reached out to those who were possibly exposed. Measles can easily spread through the air and survive for up to 2 hours after the infected person has left. 1 in 5 people who get the measles have to go to the hospital. Symptoms include a fever over 105 degrees, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, a rash starting at the head and moving downwards. The health district says the best way to protect yourself and your family is from an updated vaccine. These have been your BYU-Idaho Radio evening headlines for January 7th, 2026. Thanks for tuning in. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast apps. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Kimber Pierce.